and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Coming right up, another fun varsity sports show.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hey, this is Sophie, and you're listening to my dad, Vince. Dad, you owe me $20 now.
Hi, kids. This is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man, Vince Delicio. And what's your last name?
It's Delicio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning. What we have in mind is breakfast in bed for 400,000.
To the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. My name is Vince Delicio, and I am joined by my colleague, my coworker. He co-hosted the show last week. He has been an amazing addition, an important addition to the Varsity Sports Show lineup this summer. He has really raised the bar. He continues to do that. He's a really talented guy. I don't even know why I'm here. I should just tell him to take over, and I'll just check out for the summer. But his name is Douglas Santo from the Cronkite School of Mass Communications. He is not a student this summer. He's a working professional, producing a radio show, co-hosting, broadcasting, and out there telling stories, being the voice for the voiceless. Doug, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very good this morning, Vince. Thank you.
It's amazing. We're at one of our show partners' stores. We're in a very industrial part of Phoenix off of 27th Avenue in McDowell. I grew up, used to ride my bike up and down these streets, right down the street, literally a stone's throw from the State Fairgrounds and Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which was the madhouse on McDowell. The Phoenix Suns played there for years until their 1992 when the America West Arena at the time opened up. But I saw my first concert at Veterans Memorial Coliseum when I was 13 years old. Ronnie James Dio. It was amazing. Little guy, little Italian dude with a loud voice, and it was a great show. And that was my first concert, and from it's been all downhill from there. So my love of rock music and everything else. But anyway, we are at AAPAK, and auto and heavy duty air conditioning specialist. We're joined by the owner of this fine establishment. His name is Rob Sanchez. And first of all, Rob, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for being such an amazing partner. And the thing, when you enter into partnerships of this kind, it's got to be mutually beneficial. And it's been beneficial to us because it's allowed us to continue to expand, to support our initiatives, to bring on students, to support the students that we work with. You've got a pretty good student in your own household that's a journalism student that we're going to be talking about her here on and off throughout the show. But on your side, it has to be a beneficial relationship because you're a business owner. You're running a business, and you're a staple in this community for what you do. Tell us about AAPAK, first of all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a little history about AAPAK. We started in 1982 on the corner of 19th, like you mentioned before, 19th and McDowell. It was there for over 40 years, so we recently moved 2.5 years ago to 27th Lane in McDowell, just south of McDowell. So a lot of people think we went out of business or something, but we didn't. We just moved just to a bigger facility. We kind of outgrew it, and it was an old place. I mean, that building has been there since the 30s or 40s.
How many square feet in this building? I'm looking around in this warehouse that we're sitting in, and there are boxes everywhere. You know what this reminds me of? Remember the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark when he's pushing the thing at the end of the movie and all those boxes in that big warehouse when he's, now I know you don't have the Holy Grail in here, but it might as well because it's like a maze in here. How big is this building?
It's 10,000 square feet.
Wow.
So, and we're kind of already outgrowing this. So as we progress with new technology, with we're bringing in other things that haven't been progressed or weren't around, so we cater everything from, let's say, a 1960s Chevelle all the way to a big rig. So we do everything in between. So it's kind of we know everything about AC. So if you have anything that has AC, whether it's a car or equipment or a backhoe or whatever, we have it.
How important, if this is a leading question, but how important is it to have functioning air conditioning in Arizona?
Exactly. I mean, look at today. Today is going to be like 110
brutal.
And 20% humidity. So, I mean, you can, if you're sitting at a red light, I mean, it's miserable, and you don't have AC.
Now, people that are at home or in their cars that are listening to the show, they hear that noise in the background, that blade. That's not somebody getting tortured here. There's actual fabrication happening here.
We rebuild hoses. Let's say you have a hose that nobody has.
Doug, you like that joke? Yeah.
It's not available anymore anywhere. Let's say it's 2 to 3 days out from if it is available. So, we can have it back to you within 1 to 2 hours, rebuilt a hose for you. And that's, from...
That's rare. You don't see that because a lot of these big box companies, they got to call out. They got to get stuff, and it takes weeks because it's coming over from China and some, back order, supply chain, all that. But here, you do a lot of the stuff here.
Well, another thing, too. I mean, you go to... And I don't need to badmouth anybody.
No,
but,
please, go ahead. We do it all the time.
A big company.
Yeah.
That has 200 stores. You go there and give them a compressor. Let's say it's part of an equipment.
Yeah.
You put it on the counter, they won't even know what it is.
Exactly.
We can identify it. We can let you know, hey, we have it. We can build it. If we don't have it, we can build it. So that's kind of what separates us from the big brand companies.
Yeah.
I mean, we're locally owned. We're been in the business. That's all we do. I know that those people can't fulfill everything because they do from brakes to spark plugs to batteries. I mean, all we focus on is just AC.
Well, one other thing you have that's very special in your lineup is you have Renee.
Yeah.
Renee's he's like a jack of all trades. He's sitting there behind the counter, and he knows a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what helps.
It's a family business.
Well, it's a family business, and that's what keeps us going and why customers come back, because not only do we have Renee, we have Jose, we have Joey, we have Russ, that's the fabricator. I mean, everybody knows that when they come in, he did something for me 20 years ago. I mean, this guy is a staple with AAPAK. It's not just... just family owned. It's just a local company that we take pride in what we do, customer service. I mean, you can go into our reviews online and everybody just compliments how helpful we are. We try to educate the customer so they don't get ripped off. I mean, if they just want to replace a hose, some shops are like, just replace a compressor. That's going to help. But at the same time, you need to figure out why the issue is. To take care of it right the first time.
My wife took our car to the car dealership for service, and they told her that her blinker fluid was out. So,
oh wow, we get those.
You get those? Yeah, that was another joke. Doug, you could laugh at that. No, but the thing is that yes, it's knowledgeable, and you because people do their homework. We can't insult people's intelligence. They'll come in, they probably know the answer, but they're going to come in and they're going to test you, and you educate people on exactly what it is they need. So for me to come in, if I have a problem and I'm showing up here, you obviously want to educate me because it's, you might be a little off the beaten path in terms of your location, but you have brand loyalty. You've been a staple in this community over 40 years. Now, granted, you only moved a mile from your other location, but you've been in this area. You have people that come from all over. Do you do a lot in terms of online orders or things like that, or is most of what you do face-to-face business, the old-fashioned way, handshake, and let's talk and let's educate you and try to help you with exactly what you need?
Yeah, definitely. On the online world, we are not a staple. I mean, we're just a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Me too. If you have a question, a problem, we're here. Online, I mean, even people come in and beat us up. Hey, online, I can find this cheaper. We're like, okay, well, order
good luck.
it.
Yeah.
But when you have a problem with it, who are you going to call? So,
exactly.
We have ventured that way, but at the same time, it's not the same as having a relationship with the customer.
Yeah.
And that's what I think misses on having an online presence.
So we met because of your daughter, Ella. Ella Walter Sanchez. For those of you that know of Ella or heard of Ella, the last year Ella was a key part of our team. Doug, she was one of your predecessors that joined the show. And a very talented young lady, very talented journalist. She was a senior at Arcadia High School this year. You would have never known that. She became known as our little, tough journalist because, and not little, she's not little, but tough journalist because of the fact that she would hold people to answers. If somebody gave her an answer, she was fair, she was balanced, but she published it. And there was one incident where we had someone coming back to her saying, hey, that's, I didn't want that print. Well, you know what? This is fair. This is the answer. This is what you gave me. And she ran with the story, and she became known as definitely, one of our hard-hitting journalists that is fair, that's balanced, and she has a bright future in this thing. She's not easily intimidated, and that's, one thing about journalism is you're holding people to their answers, and how proud are you of her?
Very. I mean, if anything, she sticks to her guns of how she feels,
yes,
her emotions, everything. She's not going to be biased on what somebody else is judging or saying. So, very happy about her, very accomplished in her, what she's doing. Very proud of everything that she's accomplished. And, like you said, only she can prevent from accomplishing what she wants to. I mean, she has a bright future. She's smart.
ASU's lucky to have her this fall. She's going to be enrolled in one of the top, if not the top, sports journalism school in the country, and it's nice she'll be down the street.
Right.
Even though I bet you probably won't see her, anymore for the next 4 years because she'll be busy. But she's got a bright future. Rob, I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you so much for partnering with us, and we hope that this partnership continues into the future. Rob Sanchez from AAPAK, Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialist. Guys, they're on the corner. Well, not quite on the corner, but 27th Lane and McDowell Road. It's in a very industrial area, but if you are looking for something, anything to do with auto, AC parts, equipment, call these guys first. What is your phone number here, Rob?
It is 602-254-1116.
602-254-1116. AAPAK. Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialist, Rob Sanchez, the owner, along with his family. We're going to have Renee on later to talk a little boxing. I can't wait. He doesn't know it yet. Actually, he does. But we'll look forward to having Renee join us a little later when he's not so busy. You're going to have to give him a break back there. But, Rob, thanks again. Doug, I'm going to turn it over to you. What do we have coming up next?
Yeah, after the break, we're going to hear from our colleague Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin. He sits down with an interview with Red Mountain High School football coach Kyle Enders, as well as after that, we'll have Robert Diaz, another one of my colleagues from University of Florida. He's going to recap the Arizona basketball last season and the new additions they've made this season, whether it be through the transfer portal or through recruiting. That's what we'll have after the break. Thank you guys for joining us.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
We'll do what's best for the team, and we'll do what's best for you.
The Rich Eisen Show, coming to you weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
AAPAK is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, AAPAK has you covered. Call AAPAK, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase. Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Anderson. I'm a sports broadcasting student at the Hanks Greenspun School of Journalism at UNLV. I am stoked to start creating visual and audio segments along with broadcasting and sideline reporting for different games this season. As a writer for the UNLV Scarlet and Gray, I can provide insightful knowledge on a variety of different sports. I am excited to be a part of the team this season and looking forward to kicking off the year right on the Varsity Sports Show.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to once again be the official broadcast team of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. We are back for another year of HJCAC football. We'll bring you the JUCO Game of the Week, on-site live coverage, weekly JUCO report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show, and coming this fall, the weekly Coaches Show with Coach Doug Medoski. Stay tuned for more. JUCO football is alive and well in Arizona. Brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show and the HJCAC.
James Out West brings NFL, NBA, MLB, and local sports talk to you Monday night starting at 7 on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
We welcome you back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona Radio. As we were just joined by Rob Sanchez, owner of AAPAK Air Conditioning, here on the show. It was really nice talking to Rob, as AC is very important nowadays in Phoenix, as we're out into the 100s, 110s, and it's very hot out here. We're going to transition now to listen to my colleague Mark Buerger from the University of Madison, Wisconsin, as he interviews Coach Enders about the Red Mountain High School football team. Take it away, Aaron.
Hello, everyone. This is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. I have the great opportunity to talk with Red Mountain High School football coach in Mesa, Kyle Enders. How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
Well, I'm not doing too bad. So I'm just very curious to see how you prep your guys on the field, not just to be better athletes, but to be better people as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, something that, I think football is really special, very different in a lot of aspects from other sports, is it truly is the ultimate team sport. A lot of times you're not going to get your name called on the announcements or making a play or the touchdown, but it really takes 11 guys at one time operating completely together to make something be successful, which is no different than like a workplace or something. So it creates the unselfishness aspect that I think helps people in general in life by just playing football, because they realize that you're just one piece of the chain. Like, you do your part and your role, and then you support the others. You can't necessarily go around and do multiple jobs and selfishly just try to want to make plays or, things like that. It just doesn't work without the other 10 on the same page. So just from that aspect, I mean, the sport itself is already creating that. It's creating those guys to learn that you're doing something for a bigger picture. Another thing, it's kind of rare now. The success doesn't happen overnight. Like, you don't get instant gratification in the sport of football. It's a long, drawn-out process of preparation. I think that teaches kids life lessons. It creates a little bit of grit. It creates things like, hey, you want this project done, or at work you want something to happen. It doesn't happen the instant you get the job. it's something you have to work for a long time at, maybe to get to where you want to be. And in football, you're doing that all the time because you're prepping year round for one Friday night. You know what I mean? You're doing hours and hours of film study and time on your own, weight room stuff, the classroom stuff. You're doing everything on the field. And I think that's another rare thing, because everything now it's on my phone and I get instant gratification the minute that I click on something and I could see it. This is something that they have to learn. That's something you're doing now. You may not see the results from it for 6 months, 8 months. And then some things like off the field that we do, we try to really get involved with the community. We really try to teach our kids to give back. And yeah.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. That's very awesome. And do just in these last minute and a half here, what opportunities do you know that some of your players have done to give back that you know of?
Yeah, so like as a team, well, first thing is all year round. So like when we're during the winter and the spring sports, we're constantly going at least twice a week to some event on campus, whether it's a guitar concert, an orchestra concert, whether it's a basketball game, a softball game, anything like that. We're at 2 things a week. Now, it's not everybody on the team. We split them up into groups, but we go out there and we always try to say we're trying to create a sense of community and culture at our school, that we're all in it together and we're supporting each other. We want them to come to our games. We're going to go to their games. So sometimes it's just as simple as giving back their time, right? Hey, we're going to be at the school on a Tuesday night from, 6 to 9 p.m. and you're going to go and you're going to cheer on. Maybe you know nothing about the sport. Maybe you know nobody in the sport or the activity that's going on. But that's the first thing, is just, hey, sometimes just being there and being supportive is a valuable lesson that they need to learn. And then we do stuff. Being a huge program like we are, I try to kind of, with our district, let them know if there needs to be anything done around the district that we can help, to reach out. Usually over the summer, we help elementary schools, whether it's moving classrooms, cleaning classrooms, any type of manual labor they need. We were at a local elementary school last summer, and we helped move all the furniture out of all the classrooms. Something that took us 2 days to do, probably a total of 4.5 hours. It would have taken the one person days to do, months. Yep.
Thank you so much, Coach Enders. And again, this is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you, Mark. Douglas Santo, ASU Cronkite here. Thank you, Mark, for that really nice segment there with Coach Enders, just talking about how important it is for our high school sports to be involved in our community, and not only to be playing on the field, but being able to help elementary schools, as Coach Enders talked about, and also supporting the other sports at their high school. I think that's so important because, at least in Texas, where I'm from, like, high school football, that's the biggest sport there. Like, sure. Nobody else cares as much about the other sports as they do high school football. And at least at my high school, like, whenever the football team was out supporting other sports teams, it really meant a lot, because you were like, okay, like, we're worth their attention to come out and watch us.
Yeah.
And so I really think that's cool for the coach to promote that and get his players to be involved with the other activities and events around the school, especially when it comes to the music programs and stuff that maybe don't get quite as much attention. How important do you think that is, Vince?
Oh, man. It can't be stated enough, especially when you've got a guy like Coach Enders. And there's a few schools out there that bring back alums to run different athletic programs, extracurriculars, and Coach Enders is one of those guys. He's got a special ed background. He graduated from the school in the mid 2000s, around 06, 07, played for Jim Jones, legendary coach, and Coach Enders was a pretty good football player in his own right. He was an all-state player, and it came back, and he's giving back. And obviously, it's a mutual. We talk about mutually beneficial relationships in that it's gratifying for him to run a football program, to build a program, at his old high school. And it's great for the high school to bring him back because he's been a staple of the community in running a program. And because of that, and knowing the culture and the community culture, you're helping the community as a whole. So they do different projects. They support different initiatives that are outside of the scope of their program. And it really teaches the kids about being selfless in this whole thing. It's not just about me, and getting out there and helping and working in the community. And when you've got a coach that's running the program that's from the community, it's win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that just, especially at the high school level, that plants a seed in those players and athletes' minds that, like, I need to be helping the community. I want to focus on my sport, but helping the community is just as important. And I really liked how he talked about going to the elementary schools and helping move furniture around and stuff, because as he said in the interview, for the teachers, that might take weeks, months, but for the players, if you can get 50 players in there helping them move furniture out, it's going to take just a few hours or a couple days. And especially in the heat of summer, that's not going to be fun for one person. Yeah. But a football team, it helps with their camaraderie, it helps with helping the community, and I just think that's a really cool initiative for him to be pushing.
We are live at AAPAK, Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialist, just off of 27th Avenue and McDowell Road, a stone's throw from Veterans Memorial Coliseum, the Madhouse on McDowell, for those of you that have been here long enough. What do we have coming up next, Douglas?
We're going to listen to one of my colleagues, Robert Diaz, who is from the University of Florida, and he's going to talk about Arizona basketball this past season, their run in the NCAA tournament, and then talk about the new additions of players they've made during this offseason going into next season. Aaron, take it away.
Hello, my name is Robert Diaz of the University of Florida, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. The University of Arizona had a very impressive season, finishing 27-9, upsetting Duke in the regular season with a 15-2 home record, and ending up in the Sweet 16 of March Madness. Arizona hopes to build on this performance with a very impressive recruiting class. Carter Bryant is coming out of Centennial High School in Corona, California. The 6'8 small forward is a highly touted recruit, a top 30 in the nation recruit, rated at 96 overall, 4-star by 24/7 Sports. He is 5th in his position and the number 2 recruit out of the state of California. 7-foot center Emmanuel Steven is a local guy out of Dream City Christian in Glendale, Arizona. He is ranked 107th in the nation, number 19 at his position, and number 6 at the state. The 7-footer looks to make a big splash in his first year at Arizona as a 90-rated 4-star recruit. Arizona was also able to get 3 highly touted transfers. First being Anthony Del Orso, who was ranked a 93 transfer, coming from Campbell University to Arizona. The small forward looks to make a big-time impact his first year. Second is Tobe Aqua. The 6'8 center bumped up his recruiting significantly from high school as he proved himself in Tennessee and went from an 85 3-star coming out of high school to a 92 4-star transfer recruit who has big things in his future. Third is Trey Townsend, small forward coming out of Oakland University. He transferred to Arizona and he was unranked coming out of high school. However, he now had a 93 transfer grade according to 24/7 Sports. He was one of the most coveted transfers going into the portal, and Arizona got a big prospect by landing him. Thank you for listening. I'm Robert Diaz with Varsity Sports Show.
Carving out time in your afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show right here on KDUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KDUS1060.com. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hello, this is local voiceover model and former Daddy Yankee stunt double, Mario Malaby. Be sure to DM us your questions for Ask Lucas on Twitter. And you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Diaz. I'm a sports journalism major at the University of Florida. I am very excited to join the Varsity Sports Show. I intend to cover the NBA playoffs, but I'm open to covering any sport. I can't wait to share my expert analysis throughout the semester and hope to deliver a great listening experience.
Listener rewards for you with the KDUS 1060 app. Download today to hear all of the national and local shows you love. That's the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back here to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. We thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Douglas Santo from the Cronkite School of Journalism, joined alongside Vince DeLisio. And just in a moment here, we're going to hear from Thaddeaus Mitchell, one of my colleagues from Texas Southern University.
That's in your hometown,
yes,
Houston,
it is.
Texas.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
And he is going to talk with a jiu-jitsu student, Preston Lawton. We're going to hear about Preston's journey in jiu-jitsu, and then I will recap the U.S. Open and my fellow...
I apologize, Doug, for interrupting. I do this without fail. So the one thing that's unique is that you're getting a lot of perspective and a lot of reporting from our team in other parts of the country. And why is that important to people in Arizona or from wherever you're listening? We try to present content that is relatable, something that you can look at and say, oh, wow, that's a pretty cool way to look at it. It sounds a lot like my situation or whatever it is. And so this story on this jiu-jitsu athlete likely has some components, some things that make it relatable, and that's what we're all about here. So anyway, that's my disclaimer. That's why you're wondering, well, why is this guy in Houston reporting on jiu-jitsu? So anyway, go on, Doug. Sorry.
Yeah, and I also think jiu-jitsu is a really interesting sport that not a lot of people talk about too much, but there's a lot of preparation and behind the scenes stuff that goes into it that I think will be interesting to hear about with Thad and Preston Lawton. But anyways, after that, we'll hear, I'll recap the U.S. Open, and then my fellow ASU colleague, Reilly Robertson, will give us a recap of the College World Series, which will get underway tonight, actually, with the World Series Championship. So now we will hear from Thaddeaus Mitchell with his interview with Preston Lawton. Take it away, Aaron.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Thaddeaus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Today, I have a student in jiu-jitsu. His name is Preston Lawton. How you doing, Preston?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So, tell me, what inspired you to start practicing jiu-jitsu, and why did you choose a UFC gym?
I used to be an athlete, and I used to play basketball, so once I stopped competing, I kind of I wanted to find something else I could possibly compete at and work out and, stay healthy and stay fit. So jiu-jitsu just ended up being one of those things that got my attention. I just did it.
Can you describe your typical training routine and how often you train each week?
So I work out 5 times a week. I have jiu-jitsu 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. And, so about 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm. I know you recently participated in your first competition. How did you feel going into it?
I was pretty nervous at first, but after my first match, I felt pretty good. I felt like class.
What were your biggest challenges that you faced during your competition?
Maybe cardio-wise, maybe with preparation. Maybe I feel like I could do a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I came up a little bit short on the gi.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Can you explain what gi is?
Gi is the uniform that you wear in jiu-jitsu for grappling.
What has been your most rewarding aspect of your jiu-jitsu journey so far?
I'm proving to myself every day that I can get better, and I can stay consistent, and I know that I can work hard. And
What advice would you give to someone who is considering starting to do jiu-jitsu?
So don't put too much pressure on yourself. You're already taking a big step just by getting out there and trying something different. So don't be scared and just have fun.
How has practicing jiu-jitsu influenced other areas of your life, such as your mindset, discipline, or fitness?
I would say mindset. I also say confidence. Just challenging yourself and just overcoming things mentally and physically. It's just a good feeling. So that helps you put your confidence up.
Would you say it allows you to push yourself to your limit?
Yes, of course.
What do you think sets jiu-jitsu apart as a martial art in terms of like other martial arts? Is it?
Say one more time. I can't hear you.
What do you think sets jiu-jitsu apart from other types of martial arts?
Really, it's a grappling and it's a submission sport. A lot of the martial arts don't focus on that; they focus on different things. So that's what kind of makes jiu-jitsu unique. It's based off submissions.
Would you say it's more of a mind game than other martial arts?
For sure. Definitely a mind game. You're basically playing off each other's mistakes, so it's basically whoever can make the first move, or whoever makes the first mistake is gonna win. So
What goals do you have with jiu-jitsu? Is it a short-term goal? Is it a long-term goal?
A long-term goal right now. One of my short-term goals is to get my blue belt. So gonna keep working towards that, and then hopefully long-term goal is to get my black belt.
Do you ever plan on doing it professionally?
Later down the line, if that's something that comes to consideration, I would do that.
Okay. Well, that's all we have for today. I want to thank you for joining the show. I'm Thaddeaus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
That was Thaddeaus Mitchell from Texas Southern talking with Preston Lawton about jiu-jitsu. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Here I'm Douglas Santo, ASU Cronkite. And it's been a wonderful morning so far as we got to talk with AAPAK owner Rob Sanchez, and then we just heard from Thaddeaus Mitchell, and just talking about the martial arts sport of jiu-jitsu, and with a student of it, Preston Lawton. And I really liked how he talked about how just as much as it is physical strength in the sport, it also is mental strength, because it takes the mentality that you have throughout that. And I think actually now we are on the line with Thaddeaus Mitchell. Thad, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Perfect. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good, thank you. So, how do you know Preston, and what made you decide to interview him about jiu-jitsu?
I've known Preston almost my whole life. We kind of grew up together, and I just know he's been doing jiu-jitsu since he stopped playing basketball in junior college, and he's kind of just told me about the sport, and he kind of wanted me to get into it too. So it was good to interview him and see what it was all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I was kind of talking about just a minute ago, Preston talked about the mind games and playing off of mistakes in jiu-jitsu. How important do you think mental strength is, in addition to someone's physical strength in the sport of martial arts, and just in sports in general?
I think, I just know that you have to have a good mental, because you could be put in situations where you would need to, you might not have the physical for it, and you have to push yourself, and that's where all the mental aspect comes into it. I think, that goes with other sports too, like football, basketball, with just pushing yourself to your limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got 45 seconds left here. Have you ever thought about doing jiu-jitsu? I know you said Preston had tried to get you into it. What do you think of that?
I think it would be cool. When I was a little younger, I did karate for a little bit, so I think jiu-jitsu will also be something that's fun to do, and just great exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. I know like wrestling and boxing is wonderful exercise, and I can imagine the rest of the martial arts are just as much strenuous on your muscles and just that conditioning and everything. I really thank you for joining the show, Thaddeus, and have a great day.
You too.
That was Thaddeus Mitchell from Texas Southern. Thanks for joining the show. And
you like the applause there. I've been working with this podcast machine here. It's pretty cool. Anyway, all right, go ahead. Sorry, Doug. Go ahead. We're just having fun.
No, I learned on the very first show that you like your sound effects board.
I do. I love the sound effects board, especially this one. There you go. All right, where are we, by the way, Doug?
We're about to go into a segment about the U.S. Open that concluded last weekend.
Okay.
And Aaron, you can take it away.
Good morning. I'm Douglas Santo from the Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Last weekend, the U.S. Open crowned its newest champion. Bryson DeChambeau headed into Day 4 of the Open with enough of a lead to go 1 over on the final day and still win the tournament. DeChambeau had Rory McIlroy on his heels and even ahead of him for most of the final day. McIlroy, the Irish 4-time major champion, had not won a major in 10 years, but held a 2-stroke lead with 5 holes to go. However, he bogeyed on 3 of the final 4 holes, including 2 misses less than 4 feet out. That opened the door for DeChambeau, and he did his part to finish the job. The American golfer knew on the final hole he needed either McIlroy to slip up or he needed a birdie for the win. As he got set to begin his final hole, he heard commotion from where McIlroy was, as he was in the group ahead of DeChambeau and knew something was up. DeChambeau would end up in a sand bunker with 2 shots to par. He would perfectly place the ball out of the bunker just a few feet from the hole, setting up a very doable final stroke to win the U.S. Open. Ironically, DeChambeau had posted on social media what he felt was the hardest shot to complete, and it happened to be the shot he had to get out of the bunker and set up his U.S. Open winning stroke from a few feet out. The American golfer now has 2 U.S. Open championships, his first coming in 2020. Through 3 rounds heading into Sunday's final day, he was the only player in the tournament that had shot under par every round. His final round was 1 over, but it was good enough to earn the championship. Since Jordan Spieth won the U.S. Open in 2015, an American has won 8 of the last 10 U.S. Open championships, including 6 straight from 2015 to 2020, capped by Bryson DeChambeau. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Douglas Santo.
Hi, this is Reilly Robertson from Arizona State reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. We are almost through with the College Baseball World Series that started on June 14th. The final 8 teams that have come from regional and super regional series from every conference and region come to Omaha, Nebraska. The College World Series is a double elimination tournament culminating in a 3-game finals series. The 8 teams that made it to Omaha were North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, Florida State, Kentucky, North Carolina State, Texas A&M, and Florida. All of these teams had a long road to get to the CWS through various rounds in regionals and conferences. The final 4 teams were Tennessee, Florida, Texas A&M, and Florida State, with Tennessee and Texas A&M playing in the final series. Both Tennessee and A&M are incredibly talented teams that have been dominating in the regular season and playoffs. Both schools have never won a men's College World Series title, with Tennessee's most recent finals appearance, and only finals appearance, being in 1951. This all-SEC matchup proves to be one for the books, as these 2 teams did not face each other in the regular season, but played once in the SEC tournament, with Tennessee winning 7-4. This is the 3rd time in the past 4 seasons that the CWS Finals has shown 2 teams from the SEC. Both teams are undefeated thus far in the College World Series and will each look to continue that streak. The first game of this 3-game final series is tonight, June 22nd. Game 2 will be on Sunday at 2 p.m., and the if-needed game on Monday will be at 7 p.m. Make sure to tune in. This is Reilly Robertson from Arizona State, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show.
Downloaded the KDUS 1060 app yet? Download today and get all of your favorite local and national shows right on your phone.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com.
Than a mosquito in a news colony. I'm listening to Vince at the Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
I'll turn those picks into gold.
Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio and Douglas Santo live at AAPAK Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialists, just west of the State Fairgrounds, just off of 27th Lane and McDowell Road. They are a full-service auto air conditioning retailer, fabricator. You come here with any questions regarding AC, I guarantee, guys, if you don't have an AC unit, you're you're a caveman, because you need it here in Arizona. And I mean, people get by with evap cooling as well. But when I was a kid, we had an evap cooler in our house, and I'll tell you what, it's been dry summers up until July. It was hell. And then once you get a little humidity, evap cooling systems tend to work a little bit more efficiently. But anyway, long story short, these guys know it all. You come here and you hear that little saw in the background. They're fabricating stuff, and you know, they are custom here, and they have answers to a lot of questions. And later, we're going to be joined by Renee. Renee is he is the local boxing expert. We're going to get to know him and hear his story and how boxing ties in with AAPAK and this family and the local boxing scene. That is one sport that is really rooted deep in Phoenix history, is boxing. Anyway, Doug, turning it over to Doug. Doug, what do we got coming?
Yeah, absolutely. AAPAK has just been super welcoming since we've been here all morning this morning. Coming up, we have Pham, one of my colleagues from San Diego State University. He's going to break down some key swing plays throughout the NBA Finals that led to the Celtics becoming the newest NBA champs. Take it away, Aaron.
I'm Pham from San Diego State, reporting for Varsity Sports Show. The NBA Finals recently concluded with the Boston Celtics defeating the Dallas Mavericks 4-1. Celtics star forward Jaylen Brown was named Finals MVP. Brown averaged 20.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5 assists on 44% shooting from the field, 23% from three-point range, and 73% from the free throw line. The pairing of star wings and former number 3 overall picks, Brown and Jason Tatum, earned their first ring, while teammate Drew Holiday earned his second ring. Mavericks star point guard Luka Doncic averaged 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in a losing effort. There was one key play in each of Boston's 4 finals wins that really swung momentum. Starting off in Game 1, Boston led by as many as 29 points. As Dallas cut into the lead and made it a 13-point game late in the third quarter, Brown came up with 2 blocks at the rim. The first block happened as he rotated to the rim and blocked a potential alley-oop play for Mavericks forward Derrick Jones Jr. On that same possession, Brown met Jones at the summit again and blocked another dunk attempt. In Game 2, Boston had a 6-point lead towards the end of the third quarter. With 3 seconds to go, Celtics guard Peyton Pritchard sprinted up the floor, pulled up from half court, and banked in the 3-pointer to beat the buzzer. That shot swung momentum for Boston. Pritchard had 2 long-distance 3-pointers to end the quarter in the finals. Going to Game 3, Boston built a 21-point lead early in the fourth quarter. Then Dallas made a furious rally to pull within 1 point with 3.5 minutes to go. As Boston pushed its lead back to 3, Derek White canned a wide-open 3-pointer to take the air out of the Mavericks building and put Boston in the driver's seat for a 3-0 lead. In the clinching Game 5 win, Boston had a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then Tatum had a pair of back-to-back driving layups with 5 minutes to go to get the championship party going at the TD Garden. The Boston Celtics are your 2023-2024 NBA champions. For the first time since the 2017 Golden State Warriors, the team with the best regular season record would go on to win the championship in the same year. For Varsity Sports Show, I'm Mac Pham.
By Mac Pham. Mac, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing very good, thank you. So I totally agree with you on all those swing plays throughout the finals. There were definitely times throughout each and every game that Boston got the momentum back and led them to their win. I feel like their depth this year just grew so much. How important do you think that was, just 1 through 5, and then even the bench being able to produce as well as they were on their journey to the finals?
They have a terrific unit, Boston does. They got arguably the best starting 5, in my opinion, with all those guys who can shoot at least 35% from deep. And it's hard to double off, and for opposing defenses, it's hard for them to double off anybody on Boston. And then to their depth, even though they're not like a 10 deep rotation, they're 8 deep, but it feels like they're 10, 11, 12 deep with how good their 3 role players are off the bench. They're an incredible basketball team.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking to that depth, you mentioned Peyton Pritchard's half-court shot early on in the series, but then he also hit a second one in Game 5 going into the half to put the Celtics lead up from 18 to 21, which just seemed like a huge mountain for the Mavs to climb. How important do you think Peyton Pritchard was, and just his ability to come in off the bench, cold off the bench, and hit dagger half-court threes like that?
Momentum plays. Even though, a basket is worth, a layup is worth 2 points, a 3-point shot is worth 3 points. But those plays that Peyton Pritchard made, those half-court shots, even though they're only worth, quote-unquote, only worth 3 points, just like any other shot beyond the arc, those shots are just momentum. That plays that can switch the momentum. It feels like Boston just scored 10 points just off that half court shot alone. So those are those low risk, high reward plays that Peyton Pritchard made in the finals, and that's what really helped Boston win the finals convincingly. And how they would, even though, like I said, even though those plays were worth 3 points, those plays they feel like they're worth 10, 12 points as momentum shifts over to Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate you joining the show today, Mac. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well.
I got to say, Mac would be a great basketball coach. Why he may have missed his calling. I don't know. He's a pretty good journalist, too. But, Mac, you should be coaching in the NBA.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway.
I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Okay. All right, Doug, what do we have next?
Next, we're going to hear from Nick Anderson from UNLV, and he's going to talk about the Suns draft coming up and who he thinks the Suns could potentially be looking at to draft and add to the team that had an early exit this year in the playoffs. Aaron, take it away.
This is Nicholas Anderson from the Hanks Greenspun School of Journalism at UNLV, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. We are just 1 week away from the 2024 NBA Draft, and there are headlines and storylines forming that can completely rewrite history in this year's draft. Scouts and analysts are excited about the depth and versatility of this year's draft prospects, which features a mix of explosive guards, dominant big men, and versatile forwards who can play multiple positions. For the local Phoenix Suns, Phoenix is coming off an early playoff exit after losing to third-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. The talented roster of superstars of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal battled injuries and occasional inconsistencies, but demonstrated resilience and offensive firepower throughout the regular season. With the new additions of head coach Frank Vogel, the Suns' defensive strategies added a layer of toughness, balancing their high-scoring capabilities, and look to aim for another defensive prospect in this year's draft. The Suns hold the 22nd overall pick, and with the amount of talent on the board, the Suns have an opportunity to steal a star off the board. The Suns look to target star guard DJ Wagner out of Kentucky. Wagner is a shifty playmaking guard known for his scoring ability and defensive potential. Wagner can make an immediate impact to a loaded Phoenix Suns roster. Tyler Kolek also sparks interest for Phoenix. The talented guard out of Marquette gave a magical run in this year's March Madness, dishing and diming the basketball while scoring at will. Kolek is also a reliable free throw shooter and can drive to the basket with finesse. Defensively, Kolek is tenacious and often disrupts opposing guards with his quick hands and anticipation. His most important part of his game is his leadership on the court and the ability to rally his team together and perform in late clutch and critical moments that make him a valuable asset to any team. And of course, a pick that would make history, Bronny James, the high IQ defensive strategic guard out of USC, sparks the interest of every NBA team. With the Suns currently having the second best odds to draft James, the Suns not only have the opportunity to select Bronny James, but also have the ability to sign one of basketball's greats, LeBron James, giving the Suns one of the most loaded backcourts in NBA history, along with the 3-and-D guard Bronny James providing leverage off the bench. It would be the first time in NBA history a father and son duo would step on the same basketball court together. The Suns look to shake the draft boards this year and make a significant push to finally hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy and calling themselves NBA champions. From the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Nicholas Anderson.
We welcome you back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, as we just heard from Nick on Suns mock draft there, and I really liked the players that he talked about, both DJ Wagner from Kentucky and Tyler Kolek. I think both of those would add depth to the Suns' already loaded backcourt, and Kolek would bring a little more of the experience, whereas Wagner would bring a little more raw talent. I think both those would be really cool options, and then Bronny would be crazy for the city of Phoenix. It would bring a lot of excitement, and it would definitely add another star to the roster. But after the break, we want to take a minute to just thank AAPAK Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialists. As we've been here all morning, they've been super welcoming.
We'll be right back. Hey listeners, Vince DeLisio here from the Varsity Sports Show. We are so excited and honored that you start your weekends off with us. Our team is comprised of very talented high school and college students working toward a future in media. We appreciate your support, and any opportunities that we can to promote your teams or businesses will go a long way toward helping us continue supporting our talented team. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and we use our platform to not only promote all of the great things happening in the world of sports locally and nationally, but also continue to promote and encourage future broadcasters as they grow in this industry. Please consider a tax-deductible donation to the Varsity Media Foundation. To find out more, please email us at info@varsitysportshow.com or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Varsity Sports Show or on Twitter at Varsity Show. Once again, thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show now a nationally syndicated program on the SportsMap Radio Network. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
What is up, everyone? My name is Mark Buerger, and I just finished my junior year where I am a journalism student at the Journalism School at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I am very grateful for the opportunity at the Varsity Sports Show, and with my sports knowledge and enthusiasm for the games, I will bring an energy to the show to give you all the best sports content.
The AngryCrabShack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. AngryCrabShack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The AngryCrabShack in Tempe. Come ready to eat. AAPAK is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, AAPAK has you covered. Call AAPAK, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase.
Hey everyone, I'm Thaddeaus Mitchell from Ball Springs, Texas, and I am a senior studying radio, television, and film in the Martin Luther King School of Communications at Texas Southern University. I am very excited to join the Varsity Sports Show this summer, and I will be giving you quality news on basketball, football, baseball, and all other sports.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
This is Nicholas Anderson from the Hanks Greenspun School of Journalism at UNLV, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. This week, I had the pleasure to talk to Las Vegas's Faith Lutheran's high school baseball head coach, David Anderson, discussing his journey and his team's success with Faith Lutheran, along with discussing the importance of leadership and mentoring and how that can impact a team's season. You'd hear from Coach Anderson himself on his journey to Faith Lutheran.
But I kind of got my hooks in me there. I love that school. The school's great. It's just common sense. You know, they handle things so well. Campus is unbelievable, and it's just grown like crazy. When I went there, there was 135 kids in my graduating class, and I think the freshman class that's coming in this year is like 370. And so it's changed a ton. And so, yeah, when I got done playing, I got finished up playing, and Coach Walter is our AD, who's also my basketball coach, was asking if I wanted to help out JV, and next thing you know, I've been there since 2012. So started as an assistant and then jumped in. Some really good people in front of me, and just kind of try to keep the Corvette on the road.
With the season ending, Coach Anderson reflects on his season and what his thoughts were on his team's success for the 2024 season.
I think we peaked a little early. We played these two tournaments at the beginning of April, national tournaments. You know, I think we beat 5 top 25 teams in a matter of 3 weeks, and we were rolling. And you know, we peaked a little early, but I also think our window this is the very beginning of our window to be very dominant. We returned a ton of talent and a ton of guys who've kind of gone through some stuff to make things work, but we were really good all year. We just ran into some teams that were peaking and we were plateauing.
With the departure of a highly talented group of seniors, Coach Anderson reflects on their contribution and what they meant to the younger players as mentors and leaders of the team.
Yeah, I talked to them about their journey. When I went through our banquet, I kind of spent some time talking about the senior class, and their freshman year was kind of by COVID, but they were the first group that had to play in the 5A the whole time, and they finished second and third and then won the league. They've got 7 playoff wins between them in a division that's really tough. They were part of the team that beat a number 3 Gorman team at Gorman their sophomore year. I think the motor of our team was our sophomore and junior classes, but the drivers were 100% our seniors. They just kept us going the right direction. We didn't really have the great team chemistry. They did a really good job of picking up the young guys. It's really easy to put your nose up at the sophomore class or the freshmen that are on the team, and they just really embraced them all. And I think that any success we have going forward is going to largely be because of them, and that's a pretty awesome thing for them to kind of right the ship and create the culture we want. We're going to look back at players that really help push us that direction. Are you going to be guys that help push us, or are you going to be guys that kind of kept us stagnant? And the way you push us is by creating a culture you want to leave behind. They just did a really good job of taking that to heart, and all year long, they were humbled themselves and they served each other and they got after it, and nobody worked harder than that group.
Heading into next season with high expectations, Coach Anderson is excited for the upcoming 2025 season with an exciting junior class on the rise.
Just kind of continuing to get them to learn from mistakes, and understand that failure is just as good of a guide as success is, and learning how that works and adversity. And this junior class, I spent a lot of time one-on-one with these guys. I have them in class, whether it's a U.S. history or weights, and we spent a lot of time together trying to push through, the mental gaps, right? The biggest hurdle I'm really happy about that we've kind of accomplished this year is we didn't feel like we went into any game where we were the underdog, right? That's a nice feeling that we don't have to do that. I don't think we've been the underdog for a few years. I think that we've always been a team that should win, but I don't know that our guys have necessarily bought into that yet. And that's partially just because we've been growing. That junior class is ready to take it and go.
With legacies left behind and experienced talent rolling in, Faith Lutheran has all the firepower it needs to capture that elusive state championship next season. We wish Coach Anderson and the Faith Lutheran Crusaders the best heading into next season. Make sure to follow them on social media and keep up with them throughout the 2024-2025 season. From the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Nicholas Anderson.
We welcome you back here, and we're actually joined live by Nick. Nick, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. So it was awesome hearing from Coach Anderson, just talking about the success they've created at Faith Lutheran, and just implementing that winning mindset, winning culture with his players. How did you decide to pick Coach Anderson from Faith Lutheran High School to interview?
Yeah, so before I go into that, I want to thank Coach David Anderson and the Faith Lutheran Crusaders. I know they're tuning in today to listen to us, so I appreciate them very much. But for this interview specifically, I really wanted to focus on the importance of leadership and mentoring, what that means to a team, how far can that carry a team. And with Faith Lutheran's baseball team always being near the top every season in Nevada, he really instills that into his players, especially when he talks about his senior group and how they lead the younger guys of juniors and sophomores, and they instill that winning mentality into them to go far into the season. And it's just really special to see that, and him talking about that really, a lot of people can attest to that, and it brings a great story out.
Yeah, absolutely. And going off of that, I really liked how Coach Anderson talked about the upperclassmen being the drivers and then the underclassmen being the motors of the team. Why do you think it's so important to be able to grow that team chemistry and have everyone supporting each other despite different ages or roles on the team?
It's important to be on the same page, in my opinion. And even if you are older, that's why with the senior class being so important, it's important for everyone to be on the same page and for that senior class to instill, what I'm trying, I guess what I'm really trying to say is it's important for everyone to be on the same page there, and for that senior class to keep the juniors and the sophomores, ready, going. No person is better than one another, and you're a team at the end of the day. It's a team sport, and you're going to win as a team. You're not going to win it individually, and that's what I find really important.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to look forward to seeing what Coach Anderson and the Faith Lutheran baseball team do this upcoming season. Thank you for joining the show, Nick. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You too.
So now we are going to go into. What are we doing to do, Vince?
You know what? Doug is looking at me because I'm like all over the place. I just got these really cool shirts from Rob here at AAPAK. It's beautiful. I'm going to take a picture with this thing. And anyway, we're joined by Rob's brother, who is a local boxing aficionado. He's an expert. His name is Renee Sanchez. Renee, I wanted to thank you for joining us this morning because you have some stories to tell. I mean, you know a lot about local boxing here in the Valley. You're not just a pretty face. And I say that, I'm trying to be nice here, but you know a lot about boxing and about the local boxing scene. First of all, how did you develop this love of boxing? Why do you love boxing so much?
Our family has always, since we were kids, we were watching Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, man, that guy's a legend.
Mike Tyson, back in the days, and then
what about Michael Carbajal? He kind of disappeared a little bit.
Yeah, Michael Carbajal was a world champion too. We're very proud of him. Got to meet him when Benavidez was here.
Really?
His last fight at Glendale.
Now tell us about Benavidez. Why is he so important? He's kept his roots here in the Valley, but what's he been doing?
Well,
David's his first name, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I started watching them when they were kids. They would be on YouTube, and I always followed him because his brother was the oldest, Jose Benavidez Jr. Mm-hmm. So I always watched him growing up since they were kids, especially Benavidez. David, have always followed their careers, and now David is two-time WBC world champion, the youngest at 20.
Wow.
At 168. So I followed their career, and their dad too, who's a trainer, Jose Sr.
He's fought in a couple of different weight classes, which I know is extremely difficult, but he's been a super middleweight, a light heavyweight, and he's got some interesting nicknames here.
Yes, his promoter gave him the El Bandera Roja, which is the red flag.
The red flag, okay.
But now he's Mike Tyson coined him the Mexican Monster.
From Tyson?
Yes, wow. Mike Tyson, because of his fighting style.
Yeah.
So that's the name now that he's using, the Mexican Monster. So.
You think Jake Paul's got a chance? I personally don't think he's got a chance. I think it's going to be ugly, but there's a lot of money that's going to be made in that fight, man. Yeah. To even have a smidge of promote. I'd love to promote it. I'd promote it for $1 million. What do you think? I don't know. I'd promote it for $10.
It'll be an interesting fight.
Okay. I'm sorry. I had to interrupt here. But anyway, Doug, ask away. This guy's a wealth of knowledge on local boxing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know you're really into the boxing scene, especially the local boxing scene. What are the different clubs and gyms around the area that young people can get into boxing?
Yeah.
So you know what? One of my brothers tried out. He was going to be a boxer in Central Boxing Gym, and that's where the Benavidez brothers started.
Oh,
David
what's your brother's name?
Ramon.
Okay.
He trained for a while there, and then he just decided to
hang it up,
his own career. Yeah,
okay.
But we were all big time fans of boxing. I mean, we love all the sports. Local sports we love all of them too.
Yeah.
But boxing is we grew up with that. So you have a.
What weight class did your brother box at?
I think he was like 130 or
130. Okay, yeah. So you were going to say about Central Boxing.
So Central Boxing is just about a mile east of us on Van Buren and 18th Avenue. They have a picture of all the Benavidez. They drew a picture, mural in front of them. The dad and Jose Jr. and David. There's a mural you can see when you pass by the gym.
They do a lot with kids too, and
they help out a lot. Great gym, and then you got Junior Lopez Academy on 43rd Avenue in Peoria.
Okay,
it's JL Academy.
Okay,
he helps out a lot of kids too, and he's got some good boxers that he's training. He's a really good trainer, but there's a lot of talent. Casa Grande. You see fighters all the time on pay-per-view that are locals coming up that are on the fights, on the big cards. So there's talent all over the state.
Now, I got to ask this question. Now that boxing is making a resurgence, particularly because of all the media and the circus surrounding this Mike Tyson, Jake Paul stuff, do you think you'd be willing to come on and join us every so often and be our boxing expert? It carries a lot of responsibility. It doesn't pay anything, but there's a lot of responsibility. So
I'll try and do my best. Yes.
Okay. All right. Maybe a lunch once in a while. So, but we'd love to have you on if you. Yeah.
And I'll try and get you guys to interview David Benavides.
Oh man.
I did give you the shirt, and his dad was so kind to give us a hat and some shirts that were sent out.
Well, these are custom. This
Hopefully
is not
next
like
time we could get them,
this isn't stuff that's printed in third world countries. This is actually good stuff.
El Bandera Roja.
Oh,
yeah, that's his.
I'm going to wear this.
Promoter's name. So
Yeah.
hopefully that fits you. I think it's like extra large.
Yeah.
So
Well, we don't need to talk about sizes now. It'll fit. I think it'll fit. But this'll. You think I pick up some women with this shirt?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's
Don't tell my wife. Okay.
And we are.
Yeah.
He just won. He moved up to 175 and had a good a win.
Yeah.
With both hands injured and a cut in his eye from the sparring. So. They were close to canceling that fight. So we're on the crisp. Phoenix and Arizona is on the crisp of seeing a super middleweight champion. If he fights Canelo next fight, we're waiting to hear from them if that fight is made on for September.
Yeah.
He just has to heal those hands, and then hopefully we get to see him fight for all the 4 belts.
There you go. Well, maybe we'll be ringside on all that. So Renee Sanchez, not only is he part of AAPAK here, our one of our amazing show partners, have been through thick and thin with us, but he's also a big local boxing aficionado, works with kids, supports kids, and is just a great all-around person. You come across as a really gentle guy. I'm afraid I would be willing to walk down a dark alley with you, because I imagine that I'd be pretty safe if you're walking behind me. So anyway, Renee Sanchez, the brother of Rob Sanchez, and the ownership here of AAPAK. Thanks so much for joining us, Renee. We're going to have you back. You're our boxing specialist now. Again, carries a lot of responsibility, but you'll do a great job with it. Thank you again. And Doug, take it away. What do we have next?
Yeah, after the break, we're going to hear from Reilly Robertson once again, my fellow ASU colleague, talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets, talking with their operations assistant, Reed Robertson, who also happens to be her brother. And then Thaddeaus Mitchell will be back to talk about the dynasty that's being created in Birmingham by the UFL's Stallions. So that will be after the break. But once again, we are live from AAPAK Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialist this morning, the Varsity Sports Show here on KDUS AM 1060 Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Let's quickly recap the Arizona Cardinals' 2023 season before we predict their 2024 season. The Cardinals had a season to forget last season, finishing 4-13. Kyler Murray only got through 8 games last season with 1,799 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions after tearing his ACL on December 12th, the season before 2022. Kyler Murray returned for Arizona in November against Atlanta, but it was far too late, as the Cardinals missed the playoffs for the 2nd straight season. The Cardinals have yet to win a playoff game since beating the Green Bay Packers in 2015 in overtime. The last 2 seasons were tough due to Murray being hurt. But now let's predict their 2024 season. Murray is expected to get a full season in 2024, which, in my opinion, I think that's going to be really helpful for the Cardinals offense. I think that for any NFL team that you watch, the quarterback is the most integral part of that team. And I really do feel like that's going to really help the Cardinals get a few more wins on the board. And this, I really think, could make the Cardinals a sleeper team next season after the last 2 seasons missing the playoffs. After drafting Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th overall, the offense is about to gain another huge weapon. And Marvin Harrison Jr. really reminds me of Devontae Adams. He is so explosive, can catch the ball at a very high level. And again, I think his very explosive routes, I think, are going to be very huge for Kyler Murray. And as a positive to last season, the Cardinals upset Dallas at home in Week 3 without Kyler Murray. So, the defense should improve, as the offense will definitely take some pressure off them. However, the schedule won't be easy in 2024. Tough games include Lions at home, Packers on the road, 49ers on the road and home, and Buffalo on the road. So that's 5 tough games. But the rest of the schedule looks reasonable with a healthy Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. joining the offense. Therefore, as we look at the schedule, I think the Cardinals can finish 10-7 going into the wild card. Now, this may seem like a stretch, as that would be a 7-win jump in just one season, but I think it could happen. And obviously, even though the 49ers are definitely going to be the team that's favored to win the division, the Cardinals can make a dramatic improvement this season if they can stay healthy. Again, this is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison reporting for the Varsity Sports Show.
Check out the Doug Gottlieb Show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
AAPAK is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, AAPAK has you covered. Call AAPAK, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
Welcome back here to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Once again, we are live from AAPAK Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialists. So we've been joined by Renee Sanchez and Rob Sanchez, the owner and his brother, here this morning to talk about boxing and just the company and the business and what it's doing here in the local Phoenix area. Now we're going to hear from my colleague Reilly Robertson, who's also from ASU Cronkite, and her interview with Reed Robertson, who is the Columbus Blue Jackets operations assistant. Take it away, Aaron.
This is Reilly Robertson from Arizona State reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. I had the pleasure of speaking with hockey operations assistant and my brother, Reed Robertson. Here is Reed telling us a little bit about what his current job is with the Columbus Blue Jackets and some in-season tasks he gets to do.
So my current job is I'm a hockey operations assistant for the hockey team here in Columbus. And I'm also a practice goalie with the team. And a little bit about the things that I do day to day while we're in season. I basically am kind of a extra hand to help around the rink, from anywhere to management to players to coaches to equipment managers, strength and conditioning coaches and trainers. I kind of do a little bit of everything and try and fill as many holes as I can, and wear a lot of hats.
Connections are incredibly important in the world of sports, so here's just how Reed ended up with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
How I got started with the Blue Jackets, I was looking at this website, Teamworks Online, and I had noticed a position for hockey ops internship. So I applied for that, got through a few rounds of interviews, ended up getting the position. But since I wasn't a student taking college credits anymore, they kind of made an exception for me and made me part-time staff. And I came in the first year and worked pretty hard. And this is now my second year. And I see my job growing and just taking more on my plate, people asking me to do more and more things around the rink. And but it's basically kind of stemmed from that internship that they usually they do it every year, but since I kind of hold that position now, they've stopped. So
In addition to connections, mentors are also very impactful in sports. Here's Reed talking a little bit about just how important his mentors have been to him.
So mentors and my other connections, it's kind of unique in hockey ops because there's usually, unless it's an internship, and there's only a handful of hockey ops internships every year, usually you can't really apply for any jobs within hockey operations. So in order to be a scout or to be a coach or to be a general manager or anything really on the team side of things directly related to the players, coaches, general managers, it's very, very difficult to get your foot in the door, and you've got to start at the very bottom and kind of work your way up. So obviously connections are everything. I've had 2 head coaches here that are both now gone. 2 coaches in 2 years. It's about to be, 3 coaches in 2 years, and it's about to be 4th coach coming in for next year. And not even to mention goalie coach and the skills coach and guys that have moved on to other organizations. So those connections are very valuable because obviously your relationship with them, and they know that you want to move up and move on, and if there's ever a need for a similar role in their organization with their team, then you're kind of the first one that they'd call. And it's nice when they come to town or you're on the road traveling to see them and catching up with those guys and just kind of keeping up to date with them and making sure that you never really lose touch, and just say hello and have a quick chat when you see those types of guys, because you never know when something might come up with another team.
That was Columbus Blue Jackets hockey operations assistant Reed Robertson talking about his time with the Blue Jackets. Thank you so much for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Reilly Robertson from Arizona State.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Radio, and we are joined live now by Reilly.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Reilly?
I'm good.
That was really cool hearing from Reed about just his job at the hockey operations there, and what he does and the connections he's made along the way. I'm sure Reed, being your brother, played into it, but what else led into you deciding to interview him?
Yeah, so I was kind of just thinking about like who in the industry that like I look up to and is kind of like a mentor for me. And obviously he is my brother, but it's been really cool to kind of see him go through this job and learn a bunch of stuff along the way, and just watch like all of the connections that he's made and the relationships that he's kind of fostered throughout the time he's been to Blue Jackets. It's been really awesome to kind of just see him thrive. And then obviously he is my brother, so I always want to talk about him and brag about him. But it's just been really cool to kind of see what he's been able to do these past couple of years being in Columbus.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know in this industry, connections that you make, that really is what drives you and what helps you a lot in this industry. So it was cool hearing his experience with that, and I'm sure it's nice for you to be able to watch someone do that ahead of you and kind of show you how to do it as well. I know you're a huge hockey fan, and I'm assuming it runs in the family. Is it kind of your dream to work in the NHL in some capacity as well?
Yeah, so that's kind of always been the end goal for me, is to work in the NHL or somehow related to hockey, just because it is my favorite sport. And as you can tell, it is a family thing. But I've just kind of always wanted to do something in the NHL because I love it so much. I've grown up watching it. I grew up following my brother. So it just kind of is something that's always been there for me. And I just thought, like, coming into college, obviously going to Cronkite, all of that stuff, it kind of hopefully is going to set me up for the perfect route into the NHL But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to working in obviously the NFL, NBA, any of that. I would not be opposed to working anywhere else. But the NHL definitely is the end goal for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a really bright future ahead of you. I'm sure you'll be able to accomplish whatever you would like in your future. It was really nice hearing from Reed this morning, and thank you for joining the show. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
So that was Reilly Robertson here on the Varsity Sports Show, and we're going to transition now into one of our other fellow colleagues, Thaddeaus Mitchell from Texas Southern, as he talks about the Birmingham Stallions in the UFL. Take it away, Aaron.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Thaddeaus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show. The Birmingham Stallions of the United Football League is a dynasty team. As of June 16th, the Stallions defeated the San Antonio Brahmas by a score of 25-0 to become back-to-back-to-back champions. The Stallions won the last two United States Football League championships before the league merged with the XFL, creating the United Football League. Tom Brady presented the MVP trophy to Adrian Martinez, a former Nebraska and Kansas State quarterback. The UFL is starting to change the game of football. NFL teams are starting to see the league as a way to find players who can play. Just a few days ago, the Seattle Seahawks signed Ricky Person Jr. of the Birmingham Stallions. Person was an undrafted free agent of North Carolina State, where he rushed for 1,979 yards and 14 touchdowns. He signed with the Baltimore Ravens and was waived shortly after. The Denver Broncos also have signed defensive end Dondre Tillman, who had an impressive 32 tackles and 4 sacks over the course of the season. Not only is the UFL a way for players to get to the NFL, but it is a way for NFL players to keep their football career alive. 4 former Tennessee Titans also were on the winning championship team. Chris Jackson, Christian DeLauro, Derwin Gray, and Zach Johnson all helped the Stallions three-peat. Again, I'm Thaddeaus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
We welcome you back here at the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Douglas Santo from Arizona State University at Cronkite. We just heard from Thaddeaus Mitchell on the Birmingham Stallions, and after the break, we'll hear from MLB's Houston Astros beat reporter Brian McTaggart to talk about the Astros so far this season. And we will also hear in a recorded segment from ASU football head coach Kenny Dillingham on what's going on this offseason. You are here on KDUS AM 1060 radio in Arizona. Join us. Stay live after the break.
Hey Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060. KDUS Arizona, Vince Delicio, Douglas Santo, live at AAPAK. Auto and Heavy Duty AC Specialist, your one-stop shop for anything auto related to air conditioning. You guys, man, this place is amazing. This warehouse, over 10,000 square feet. The guys inside the building have a combined knowledge of air conditioning of over 120 years. I mean, this is important. When you live in Arizona, particularly in Metro Phoenix, and the kind of week that we've had and the weeks that we have this time of year, it can be life or death, and you want to make sure that air conditioning is an issue that you are dealing with properly by trained professionals. They fabricate parts here in this amazing facility, but they're just a wealth of knowledge. Come on down and ask away. And we've also come to find out they are local boxing experts here. You got Renee Sanchez, who is up on the local boxing scene and is going to provide some periodic reporting for us. So I'm joined by Douglas Santo from Arizona State University, who is part of our team all summer. Guys, my job has gotten extremely easy. I got to hand it to him because there is so much talent here. Doug, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can welcome our next guest. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very excited to announce that we're going to be joined live by MLB's Houston Astros beat reporter Brian McTaggart now. And Brian, are you here?
I'm here.
Perfect. So thank you so much for joining the show. I'm really excited to have you on. Just talking about the Astros, and I know I prepared coming in talking about how the Astros had struggled a lot this season, and then watching the game last night, best game of the season to watch. Really fun to watch that game and just the offense explode. But the Astros aren't exactly where they'd like to be at this point in the season. What do you think has been like the main plague and struggle that's gotten them this season?
Yeah, well, number one has been injuries to their pitching staff. I mean, their rotation specifically has just been decimated by injuries. Verlander started the year on the IL. He's back on the IL again. Christian Javier, Tommy John's out for the year. Urquidy started the year healthy, then got hurt in the spring, and he wound up having Tommy John surgery. Framber Valdez has been on the IL for a spell. They brought up Jake Bloss from AA last night. He pitched 3 2/3 innings, and he went on the IL today. So it's really tested the depth of their pitching. I mean, they're having to reach now to AA to get some arms. So, and that, early in the season, that put a lot of pressure on the bullpen guys for pitching out of the roles. So all that kind of snowballs. The offense has been fine, a little inconsistent. They missed Kyle Tucker. He's been out now a couple of weeks and doesn't look like he's really close to coming back. So, like a lot of teams, they're dealing with a lot of injuries, especially to their pitching staff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine getting those guys healthy is kind of the main, will be the main thing to help them get back on track. But what else do you think is key in turning those struggles around?
Yeah. Like you said, getting healthy is number one. I think getting some consistency in the offense, maybe some length in the lineup. They brought up Joey Loperfido from AAA yesterday. He had 3 hits. I think it's probably time to have him in the lineup every day. He seems like he's ready to contribute at the big league level. That will lengthen the lineup out a little bit. Alex Bregman's turned his season around. That's huge as well. Yainer Diaz, the catcher, could probably take a step up or two offensively, and he's done better lately. It just seems like offensively, it's been like half of the guys are clicking, half are not, and that happens a lot in baseball. But last night was one of those games where everybody contributed. I think everybody in the starting lineup scored. So they need to start having more games like that. Not necessarily 14 runs, but just have some big innings and string some runs together, and not just rely on a couple of home runs here and there.
Right. And going off of that, what is the mindset of the team at this point in the season? Obviously, the struggles have been more than they would like, but they have started to turn it around, climbing back closer to 500 and still second in the division and just 5 games back in the wild card race and now getting healthy. What is the mindset at this point in the team, and do they still believe that we are those World Series contenders that we were coming into the season?
Yeah, I think they still believe they have a chance, but they know that the next month is really critical, next 3 weeks, because the trade deadline is coming up. And so they need to put themselves in a good position to where they can feel really comfortable going out there and being buyers and acquiring maybe another bat, maybe somebody to play first base. Certainly they're going to be in the market for some starting pitching. But if they're, 12 out in the division and 11 out in the wild card, the trade deadline comes at the end of July, then, they might not be in position to do that stuff. That's what's going to make the next 3 weeks critical. Just continue to stack up these series wins that they've been doing lately, get back over 500. They're almost to 500 now, and then just start to build from there.
Yeah, absolutely. These next few weeks will be critical in the scope of the rest of the season. What do you think has been the biggest bright spot within the team this season?
Yeah, there's been a few. Kyle Tucker was played at an MVP level before he fouled that ball off his shin. I mean, that is a tremendous bright spot. Jose Altuve gets a contract extension and still looks like a guy who, could he's probably headed to another All-Star game, which would be his 9th. But I think the absolute biggest bright spot has been in the pitching staff with, Ronel Blanco stepping up. He's pitching later today. He had a no-hitter, took a no-hitter through 7 innings his last time out. And then Hunter Brown has turned his season around here in the last 6 weeks. If those two guys weren't doing what they were doing, considering all the injuries they had to the pitching staff, they'd probably be sunk. I mean, there's a case right now that Ronel Blanco might be their most valuable player. If you look at their record in games he starts, as opposed to when everybody else starts, it's pretty lopsided. So he's really saved the pitching staff, with Hunter Brown getting an assist there too after just a woeful April.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like in the past couple of years it's been Verlander, Valdez, and Javier where fans are like, okay, we've got our pitcher going tonight, and this season it's been like a sigh of relief whenever Ronel's on the mound because you know that he's going to go out and give you a quality start. Going back to last night, what did you see from Jake Bloss not pitching in AAA at all, jumping straight from AA, and facing the best offense in baseball?
Yeah, I had never seen him pitch before, pretty much like everybody else in the building, but he looked like he was a pretty poised kid, was throwing in the mid-90s. He seemed to have a good idea of pitching, did not seem intimidated at all. I mean, a lot of the contact against him was soft contact. There were a couple of hits that were hit hard, but, in the first inning, a couple of soft singles, and then Lopefito makes a big play in left. Second inning, a couple more soft hits. So was able to get in trouble and get out of it. If you remember earlier in the year, they brought up Blair Henley to make a start in Arlington, and he got in trouble, and it just snowballed, and before you know it, he was out of the game, before he even lasted 1 inning. So it's a big spot to make your debut, and things can spiral out of control pretty quickly. But he seemed to handle it well, until the 4th inning. His velo was down a little bit, and he was feeling something in his shoulder, and thus he's on the IL today.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So that's okay. Well, I really appreciate you joining the show and taking the time. I know there's a lot going on right now to talk. And, yeah, I hope that you have a really good rest of the day.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So now we are going to go into a segment about ASU football head coach Kenny Dillingham talks about the offseason and his expectations and what he wants out of his players. Take it away, Aaron.
Good morning. I'm Douglas Santo from the Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. With college football in its off-season for the summer, ASU football head coach Kenny Dillingham met with the media and discussed his expectations for his players during this time and his vision for the camaraderie and culture of the team.
Hang out with each other. Work. There's no shortcut. It's about the work. But then it's about the relationships. And if you have the relationships, you're going to have a lot of fun working, right? Because you enjoy coming in with each other. So the one thing I've noticed this year is our guys go bowling together. Our guys go to laser tag together. Right? Our guys are hanging out in the locker room. It's our off day today, and I was down there at 9:30 going to get a snack, and I probably saw 50 guys, some in the locker room, some walking down the stretch, just around. And it's like they want to be up here, they want to be here, and I think that's the step in the culture that we wanted to take this year. Is we wanted people that really wanted to be here and wanted to build the relationships with each other and kind of take the next step as a program.
Dillingham went on to talk about his recruiting mindset for the team. He doesn't really care about the recruiting rankings. He's focused on getting players who are bought into the program and have a drive to play the game and get better.
I truly believe in today's day and age, people gotta want to be here. Winning recruiting rankings nowadays, does it sound great? Do we retweet it? And is it awesome for momentum? Yeah. Does it have any effect right now? No. Because you could win a recruiting ranking and a week later that kid gone, a year later that kid gone. You better sign guys that want to be here for the right reasons, not because you got them to sign on the dotted line on signing day. Because that really doesn't mean anything anymore. In reality, a kid can transfer at any moment he wants. Any moment. So what is signing day? It's a commitment to come to your school. Unless you truly get kids who believe in your vision, believe in your passion, and it's not just how do I win the day. It's not about that. We're trying to build something in a culture for the future. So I like the direction we have. We have kids who want to be here. We have kids who send us workout videos all the time. And that's one thing I tell our staff. If these guys aren't out there by themselves sending you workouts, that tells you all you need to know about what drives them. But if these kids, if you're getting a workout video from a kid once a week, he's by himself at the park with his buddy, and they're going through, well, that's not his wiring. You can't coach that. We can't rewire somebody. That is such a difficult thing to do. And we're trying to sign kids that are wired away, that they want to come in here and compete. And if we say plank because it's for competition, best man win, we're going to plank to see who the best man wins because we want to compete.
Then sophomore defensive lineman C.J. Fight, who played high school ball in Texas, described how he feels wanted and welcomed by Dillingham and his staff.
I mean, you just feel like a person. Like, you don't feel like just another football player here. I know in probably some schools, some people just know the statistic. Here, you like every coach knows where you're from. Everybody coach knows your name. They know you. So just to be here, like you feel welcome. I always want to be somewhere that I'm wanted. So here I feel wanted. So.
This fall will be Dillingham's second season under the helm for ASU. The first season was rough through many injuries and transitions, but there's plenty of excitement around the culture Kenny Dillingham is building in the Sun Devil football program. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Douglas Santo.
Interact with Bob Kemp's poll question on KDUS1060.com. That's KDUS1060.com. And while you're there, check out Bob Kemp's bottom line at KDUS1060.com.
Hi, y'all. My name is Reilly Robertson, and I am originally from Dallas, Texas. I'm currently attending Arizona State University, majoring in both sports journalism and sports business. I'm so incredibly excited to start this semester with the Varsity Sports Show. There are a plethora of sporting events to cover this summer, such as the Stanley Cup playoffs, the College World Series, and the Summer Olympics. With all of these events, this summer is definitely going to be a fun one.
Hi, this is Saguaro High School head baseball coach Joe Mickey, and you are listening to the home of the SaberCat Report, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. Go Cats!
The Varsity Sports Show live with Vince D'Alicio every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Features all the local youth, high school, college sports, and more, both around the Valley and beyond. Enjoy go-to segments with coaches and players from around the Valley. Tune in to the Varsity Sports Show with Vince and guests, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060, online at KDUS1060.com and the KDUS 1060 app. Extra Point with local and national topics, betting lines, and banter. Weekdays 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060, KDUS1060.com, and the KDUS 1060 app.
I'm Robert Diaz of the University of Florida, reporting for Varsity Sports Show. I'm joined today by Colombian national and South American soccer expert Ismael Cortez. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Robert?
Doing very, very well. Today we're going to be talking a little bit of soccer. We're going to be going domestic here in the United States. Copa America is being hosted throughout the United States. It's a soccer tournament to see who the best team in the Americas is. The group stage match between Colombia and Costa Rica will take place in State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. So how do you assess the current form of both Costa Rica and Colombia leading up to this game?
Well, both the teams are coming from very good outings in the last few months, leading up to this championship, Copa America is very important for not only South Americans, but now with the, being played here in the U.S. and also all the teams that are joining, like Canada, Costa Rica, Mexico, and USA being the host. So, Colombia has had a good run. They're actually undefeated in the last 22 games or so. They haven't lost a game since the new coach joined them. And Costa Rica has been pretty much winning their games for the World Cup qualifying as well. They they tied Uruguay in a friendly last month, I believe, and Uruguay beat Mexico 4-0. So that was a very good game for Costa Rica. Being able to tie a Uruguayan team that has played really well and has very, very good players playing at this level, nowadays. So, and I think both of the teams are coming, with good performances and outings lately. The defense for Costa Rica has been showing very strong lately. Not too many goals against. Same thing for Colombia. Colombia has, I think, the upper hand as far as more scoring wise because of the players that they have in Europe, like Diaz, um, 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 yeah, most of the players that are playing in overseas for them are scoring. Santos Borré, James, who hasn't played well in his team in Brazil, but every time he puts on the Colombia jersey, he's in another level. And if he's not scoring, he's doing his passes, creating opportunities for the young kids. They have a bunch of new young guys in there, which are performing really well as well. So I foresee both of the teams are coming strong to this, to this Copa America.
What would you say the key strengths and weaknesses are of the Costa Rican team?
Well, I feel like Costa Rica lost a little bit of an edge with Keylor Navas, their goalkeeper. He decided to retire and he's not playing this Copa America. So I always feel like he was such a good goalie, not only for their team, but also when he played in his, professional teams. He's always been a great goalie. They seem to have a few guys that gives them, some security, like Joel Campbell, who has been there for, I think he's probably been in 3 World Cups or so, and he's been always there scoring or, giving passes and, putting the team almost on his shoulders in key games, where he's really shined. So, so that's one of the things that the team is a mixture of young guys and older guys, which probably is going to help them a lot, especially with these, type of games that are just so quick and, you need to get the points. So having that experience is going to help them a lot.
Overall, where do you see these two teams going? If you had to put a prediction today, where do you see one team advancing, one team not, both teams advancing? Where do you see it happening?
As when you looked at the group, Brazil's probably everybody's favorite. Then Colombia, because of the way they're playing lately. Paraguay hasn't been playing as good, at least in Copa America. They didn't really fare well. But I would see them and Costa Rica challenging each other for like a third spot there. It all depends. Like I said, the Colombia and Brazil game, if both of them win the first 2 games, that third game is just they're just gonna probably take it easy and rest players, and if they get a tie or so, they'll be happy because they both will advance. So that's how I see it. I mean, Costa Rica will have to really maybe surprise either Colombia, Brazil, and then win against Paraguay to be able to make it out of that group. So because it's such a tough group compared to the other groups where I see the first top teams pretty much being able to go out of that to the next group, to the next stage. Because of who the other teams are in those groups, So these are more even group, and like I said, Costa Rica, if the defense they play is able to surprise some teams and not let just one goal or so, and they're able to tie, because sometimes you have teams where they could qualify or advance as to the next round just by getting 3 points because they're just tying all the other teams, So sometimes that could happen as well, but we have to wait and see,
Thank you so much. This has been Robert Diaz with Varsity Sports Show. Thank you so much.
We welcome you back here to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. I'm Douglas Santo from the Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU, and you just heard from Robert Diaz, one of my colleagues from University of Florida, interviewing Colombian national South American soccer expert Ismael Cortez about the Copa America. We are now joined live by Robert. Robert, how are you?
Doing great.
That's awesome to hear. It was cool hearing Ismael Cortez's insight on the Copa America and how he believes it'll shake out and what teams are going to do what. What led you to decide on Ismael Cortez to interview?
Well, I think he's a very good person to interview. I mean, I know him through a friend, so it was it was a good choice because it was easier getting introduced to him, and also his knowledge is very good. I mean, I saw him wearing a Cali FC shirt, so I mean, to have really good knowledge. It's a Colombian soccer team, and I was certain he would have really good knowledge if he's supporting a local club in Colombia. That he would have very good knowledge of the Colombian national team and know about young players, possible, even the substitutes, have good insights into that, and also being from South America really helps with Copa America coverage, and it really helps give a good perspective. And the rivalries between the nations really it makes you informed on the other side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be really interesting going back off of what he was talking about to see what happens in the tournament, which teams do what they're supposed to, which teams maybe shock some of the favorites. It'll just be fun to follow through Copa America and see what happens. Really appreciate you joining the show and have a great day, Robert.
Thank you.
So we welcome you back here to the show as we're going to get recap the show now.
Doug, I got to tell you, last week was pretty amazing. We were down in Tucson for the show promoting women's flag football and a big camp down at the University of Arizona Stadium. And this week we're in Central Phoenix here at AAPAK, auto and heavy duty AC specialists, one of our amazing show partners, Rob and Renee Sanchez. But quite a difference. You did a great job today, and the difference to me has been the ease and the comfort level that you've been in delivering, handling the interviews, managing a lot of moving parts, because there's a lot of things that people don't see that we're managing behind the scenes. Some technical, difficulties can happen throughout anytime you do a remote broadcast, and that's one of our goals. That the reason why I like doing these remote broadcasts. But I am truly grateful for everybody that has a stake in what we do. Our community partners such as AAPAK, Rob Sanchez and Renee, and the family, and as well as the folks that appeared live on the show today with us. I'm humbled. Next week I'm going to be in San Diego. I'm doing the show with the Mac Attack, Big Mac Pham, our journalist from San Diego State University. We'll be down there, out there. I am excited. He's going to be the primary host next week, and I'm taking this show on the road. It's going to be a lot of fun, and should be great. Doug, take us out.
We want to thank our amazing live guests and show partners, APAC's Rob and Renee Sanchez, and Astros beat reporter Brian McTaggart. Check us out on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Varsity Show, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thanks to our producer, Aaron Decker, and join us back here next Saturday at 9 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. For the Varsity Sports Show, on behalf of my partner, Vince Delicio, I'm Douglas Santo from ASU Cronkite, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Go Varsity!
Go Varsity, guys! Talk to you next week from San Diego. Hey listeners, Vince Delicio here from the Varsity Sports Show. We are so excited and honored that you start your weekends off with us. Our team is comprised of very talented high school and college students working toward a future in media. We appreciate your support, And any opportunities that we can to promote your teams or businesses will go a long way toward helping us continue supporting our talented team. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and we use our platform to not only promote all of the great things happening in the world of sports locally and nationally, but also continue to promote and encourage future broadcasters as they grow in this industry. Please consider a tax-deductible donation to the Varsity Media Foundation. To find out more, please email us at info@varsitysportshow.com or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Varsity Sports Show or on Twitter at Varsity Show. Once again, thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now a nationally syndicated program on the SportsMap Radio Network. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.